Alright, so the movie that Will and I will be discussing today is a movie called Ex Machina. Ex Machina is set in a somewhat dystopian future. The technology seems pretty modern, but it doesn't really specify whether or not it's too far in the future. So we start off with a character named Caleb, and Caleb is a computer programmer at a successful computer company, and he wins a contest, and he doesn't really know what the contest is for, but he gets to fly down to a remote location to hang out with the owner of his company, a man named Nathan. And when he gets there, he finds out from Nathan that he's going to be learning about a new project that the company's been working on, and Nathan doesn't really tell him what it is, but he tells him that he needs to sign a non-disclosure agreement. After he signs the non-disclosure agreement, they start into a series of interviews. And so quickly Caleb learns that he is being introduced to the company's newest piece of technology, which is an AI, an artificial intelligence robot, whose name is Ava. And Ava is a woman type of robot, and she mocks human intelligence. So the experiment is for Caleb to try to figure out if he can tell that Ava is a robot or not. So Ava and Caleb go through a series of interviews in which Caleb believes that he is trying to figure out whether or not Ava is a robot or not. He knows that she is, but it's a certain test that in order to pass the AI test, someone needs to not be able to tell that a robot is a robot. And so essentially what happens is they go through the series of interviews, and Caleb starts to fall in love with the robot Ava. He grows like really attached to her and starts to think that she is a person and that he's fallen in love with her. So basically him and Ava devise a plan to help Ava escape. And the night before that they're about to execute the plan, Nathan tells Caleb that he was actually the experiment. Ava was trying to figure out if she could trick Caleb into believing that she was real, and that she was trying to trick him into making her escape, allowing her to escape. So basically Caleb was the subject of the experiment, and Ava did convince him to help her escape. But right before Nathan tells Caleb this, he has already actually set in motion the plan to help Ava escape. So basically he reprograms the base that they're staying in, and when the power goes out, Ava is able to escape. And Nathan then knocks Caleb out and goes to confront Ava in the hallway, telling her, "You got to get back to your cell." But Ava obviously refuses because she wants to be free. She doesn't want to be locked up in this room that Nathan has her in anymore. So basically, she then, with the help of another robot that Nathan developed, they kill Nathan and leave Caleb there to die. Basically, they lock him there, and there's really no way for him to get out. So he's basically stuck there forever. And then Ava escapes. She grabs the skin from other robots, puts it on herself, and she looks basically just like a human now. So she basically just walks out and gets on a helicopter and flies to the city, and basically that's where the movie leaves us. Nobody really knows that Ava's a robot, and so she basically passed the intelligence test, and now she's free in the world, and that's where the movie leaves us, kind of on a cliffhanger note. So yeah, that's kind of an overall summary of the movie.
Alright, so the first point I'm going to talk about now is the quality of work / how much we liked it. So the movie was put together and executed very well. There were not very many characters. We were left with just basically Nathan, Caleb, and Ava. And so the ones who were involved were developed very well. Ex Machina is not a horror movie, but it reminds us of the consequences that can come from playing God and creating sentient machines. The movie is incredibly entertaining and keeps you on the edge of your seat. The movie manipulates you in various ways. You are charmed and entertained, and then reminded of how serious the situation that Caleb is surrounded in. In the end of the movie, you are left with a couple serious questions. What will Ava do now that she's in the real world? And then why did Ava leave Caleb in the house alone to die? So the second point that we'll talk about is, how does this story use technology? How does it affect people's lives? So this story uses technology as a means of setting an example or sending a message about artificial intelligence. It sends a message that playing God by creating sentient computers is an enormous responsibility. This movie shows a realistic consequence of what could become of a disaster with artificial intelligence. It affects people's lives, and the two easy answers to this question are that Nathan is killed by Ava, and that Caleb is left for dead, locked in a house. The story leaves you with to imagine that what may become of Ava being leaked into society, and what that could do to affect the people's lives that have no idea that she's a robot. And from what we can guess, she will most likely cause some sort of disruption because of her selfish personality that we saw with Caleb when she tricked him into getting her to escape. Want to talk about the connection?
Yeah, so how does this story connect to other stories involving technology and robots and the like? So the first connection we made was to the Measure of a Man story in Star Trek, which we watched earlier this year with Data. So in that story, basically, there's a big feud over whether Data, who is similar to Ava in that they're both robots but imitate a human form and human intelligence. People are constantly debating whether or not they can be considered a human, whether they're sentient beings. And so we made that close connection between Data and Ava. Another story that we can relate it to is Terminator. So in the movie Terminator, they make an artificial intelligence which ends up backfiring on the human race. The artificial intelligence in that movie turns against the human race and tries to exterminate them. And we can kind of see that leading up and building up in this movie as well, because Ava, as the movie shows you, turns on Nathan and Caleb, who are both humans, and now she's free in society basically to do whatever she wants, and we can imagine that she's going to turn on more humans and maybe even end up demising the human race just like they did in the movie Terminator. So yeah, we were able to draw that connection as well. So yeah.
That's it.
All right, that'll do.